So at the moment we have the ability to unlock our second level here, but within a single game. But we're not able to save it off so that when we start the game again, we still have access to that, which is obviously something that we really want to have. So how do we do that? Well, first thing we need to do is create yet another class. So let's just go to our game blueprints. We've got our game instance here, which we just created, game mode, and a player controller. We've also got our main menu ones as well. So we're going to create a new blueprint class. And this time, again, it's not one of these ones up here. It's one of these lesser known ones. And we just type in save game. And we're going to create a save game class. Let's have a look at what this says. This class acts as a base class for a save game object that can be used to save state about the game. When you create your own save game subclass, you would add member variables for the information that you want to save, which is what we're about to do it. Then when you want to save the game, create an instance of this object using create save game object, fill in the data and use save game to slot or async save game to slot, providing a slot name. To load the game, you then just load game from slot or async load game from slot, depending which one you use, and read the data from the resulting object. So let's go and create that save game. Yep, select. Let's call this BP underscore save game 01, just in case we want to create more than one. Control S, double click on this. And this is very similar to our game instance here. We don't really want any any stuff going on in here. Really, all we want are variables. Now, what variable do I want to save? Effectively, we want this level 1 complete boolean. We're just wanting to save that information at the moment. If I had other information here as well, of other types of variables, I could save those as well. That's all fine. There's plenty of different things we could save there. So, level 1 complete. In fact, I'm going to do something clever and just copy this because I'm a terrible typist and I'm also kind of lazy. Level 1 complete boolean, beautiful. Compile, save. So that's our save game. Now we're going to put all this code in our game instance. Again, this class is the one that exists throughout the whole time the game is being played, regardless of whether any other levels are loaded or unloaded. So we're going to put it in here. And I think what we want to do, we're going to create, what am I doing? Add custom event, save my game, like so. And what we want to do is first up, create save game object, and probably should be the only one. BP save game 01. That's the one we want. And it's of that type, so that's fine. So let's just go and promote that to a variable, and call this my save game. So I've got that. And the next thing we want to do is we've got two objects. Two options, and let's just talk about those. So if we come over here, save game to slot. So we have two, we've got this one here. And we also have save game, async save game to slot. So there's two different types of save game to slot. If we're using, as we are, a menu and we're saving it from our menu and we're not too worried about time, then we can just use our save game to slot. If we're saving it somewhere else and we want things to go on at the same time, this is what we call an asynchronous save slot. So let's just read what this says. Schedule an async save to a specific slot. When the save has succeeded or failed, the completed pin is activated with success, failure, and the save game object. So other thing is, keep in mind that some platforms may not support trying to load and save at the same time. So we have completed here. This is our execute. So if it completes, and we've got success or fail there as well. This one doesn't have that. So this is, this stops everything else from going on while we're saving. We're going to use this one because we're just saving a, a very simple Boolean, which is really kind of fine. We don't really need much else. So yeah, that's pretty much all we need. Now, we've got the object, of course, that we want to save. So I'm just going to delete this one. If you're creating a large save, then you may want to use the async save slot. We don't need to use that at the moment. All right, so what do we want here? We've got, okay, so we can add some things in our save game. So we want slot name. Now we can have multiple slot names there if we want to. Just say you want you want to provide the player with, say, 10 or more different slots, if you like. Then you can do that. There's also a user index, which allows us to, gives us the option of doing it different ways. We could just put a slot name in here. My save slot, leave it at that. We want this to go into here, so that's going to save what we need, and I think that's pretty much all we need. I think that's all we need at the moment. We don't need, I don't think we need a player name at the moment, do we? Only if we were doing a multiplayer, which we're not doing. So I think we're okay without the player name. And that should actually save the game. So I might just, so this is whether it succeeds or not. Let's just test that. So if, so we've got a branch there. True, oops, print, oops, game was saved, and maybe we can change the colors here. Let's make that maybe green. Okay, and Control D to duplicate that. So if it doesn't work, let's pop that into there. And let's make that red. Okay, like so. Now, that's great. Complete. One thing we haven't done is we haven't actually set the value of this yet. Which is what we need to do. So just move that forward, and we want level 1 complete, and we want to set that. This is the only value we're setting, but if we were doing more, if we had more values, we'd set those as well. And we want to set that to this. So let's just feed that into there like so. And this is looking ugly. Let me just pull this around so it's not so confusing. Let's pop that up there. And just a trick, if you want to make things look really pretty, you can drag off from these like that. There we go. That looks beautiful. So we're setting the level 1 complete, whether that's whether it's complete here or not. That's fine, and that's all good. Okay, so I'm going to click on that. This is my trick when adding comments. This is the name. This is the custom event. I'm just going to copy the name here. Control C. I'm then just going to highlight all this. Hit the C key for comment. Control V, and it puts save my game, so I know what's there. And I can give it a wonderful color if I want to. Something like that. Now we also want load my game. So another custom event. Load my game. And similar thing. Little bit different this time to loading a game. We want load game from slots, and we're just using the same slot name here, my save slot. So I'm just going to highlight that. Control C and Control V. And I think that's all we need. User index was 0. That's okay. That's all we need, I think. Return value, we need to cast this to, what do we call it? BP save game 1. There we go. We can get that, and then we want to set this value here. So I can just drag that off and say set. Now, of course, that's if we succeeded. We want level 1 complete. We're going to get that, and we're going to link that up there. So that is now setting the value up here, which is the one we look at when we go and decide whether to enable our button or not. Cast failed. I just want to add a print string. Cast to save game failed. And I think, and let's just Control D, grab that and change the message and say game was loaded. Excellent. And let's just put a comment in. Just going to copy the name of that. Select all those, hit C, Control V for the name, and then give it a different color. Something like that. So we have in our game instance now, and let's just compile it, make sure we haven't done anything wrong. Okay. So we've got save game where we create a save game object. We set that object there, set the level complete, save game to a slot. So we're doing that non-asynchronously. We could do it asynchronously. And then we're just doing a print string back and forward. And then we also have load my game, where we load game from slot, so we're giving it the name and the index, casting it to our BP save game 01, and then we're setting our variable. It's the only one we're using at the moment, and then we're just saying that the game was loaded. So what I want to do first up is just to test this. Just to make sure everything's going through and is working. So how do we do that? Well, I think we can just come into the player controller and let's actually, while we're here, let's just put some boxes around here. So this is begin play. And make that red. Ooh, very strong red. Maybe not that strong. Red. And this is set up buttons. It's good to start doing this early on, before things get too crazy, which they do real quickly. Set up buttons, and I might give that a similar, because this is also in begin play. This is part of my setup. I'm going to give it a similar color to this. That's what I tend to do when I get lots of blueprints going on, is I try to get them looking. I try and do the same color. Like, that's not working at all, is it? In fact, what we could do, here's another tip. Come here to my color picker. Highlight. You can use hex linear or hex sRGB. Either one's fine. Control C to copy. Cancel that. Come into this one. Control V. And then tab. It's important to tab first. No, that's exactly the same color. And then just go OK. And they're the same color because they're involved in my setup. Now, what I want to do here is just an aside. I want to just test my save game here. So let's compile save. All I'm going to do is just a temporary thing. So let's come into here and come down to input. And just to my keyboard events. And we don't want S because that's there. Let's P is pause. What can we use? I just want to test things out. Maybe we'll just use 1 and 2. Yeah, okay. 1. When that's pressed, we've got a game instance which we've already set up. Yeah, so we've set up our game instance when we do our begin play. So I can just use this game instance, which is excellent. Don't have to do that again. I can again, I can just drag from here. If I want to just get a get the variable, I can hold down Control and drag and get that. And then I want to do save my game, like so. And then here, 2. No, we're going to have to go down to do it the long way. Where's input? Keyboard events. 2. There we go. And this time we're going to do load my game. Like so. Now this is just testing. It's not going to affect the main menu at this point. All it's going to do is test that these run without any major glitches. So that's the first thing I do. This is kind of good practice just to make sure that things run as you expect them to. So if I press 1 when the menu's there, it'll run save my game. If I press 2, it'll run load my game. So let's just hit play. Okay, that's as expected. If I hit 1, we get no message. Dang. Let's check output log, because this is somewhere where, and we're not getting anything there either. That's interesting. So that I think is because we're not capturing. Damn. Oh, that's interesting. We're getting an error here. Input mode UI only. Attempt to focus on non-focusable widget. Ooh. We need to actually, if you get things like this coming up, I haven't talked about the output log yet, but this is certainly something you should be careful of. If you get warnings and messages in here, these you should fix these up. That's interesting. So what are we getting? This is what is that not happening? Let me come back and just check, work out what's going on. Something's not working right, and we'll sort this out.